June. Well, hello there, Val.
Hey, how are you?
I'm been Heather, but I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. You want? Hello. How are you?
Good work up.
Nice.
Fine, I suppose.
Just fine. That's good.
How's everything in your world?
Good, busy, but yeah. Everybody's busy. I don't talk to one person that's not busy.
Yeah, yeah. I try to live in denial,
But it doesn't.
and then there's this regret that comes as I wasted. And I could have been to me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Great.
it is great. But, you know, busy with good things. But, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is this one a video call?
We have to turn on language and that's done.
Didn't even know that.
You like the other one closed.
I think it started in January of
Yeah, probably.
last year. We've been doing recording our meetings since last January.
What?
This January, yeah.
And it's like public?
And
If you're bored, you can go home and watch it on the internet.
You know, on my free time.
we'll zoom in and see them, but like
Interesting.
live, but afterwards, yes, they're supposed to be available.
And actually, we've had somebody that commented from at home, right? I forget what it was about now, but
Yeah.
something got pointed out by our fan club.
Oh, that's right. Yes, because somebody did go on
Oh, because of the Charlie thing.
the Charlie thing. Yes, that's how Rebecca ended up in front of the ethics committee or something. Yes. Okay.
They are watching.
Oh, boy. Okay, I have a same problem every time, yeah. Okay. Did you know? Oh, Mike's not coming tonight.
Oh, Mike neither. Anybody else not coming?
How you doing?
I'm here. Preliminary.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to be there.
Bring my hair to the side and change. Yeah.
Just saying no.
I don't know, I'll probably move it because.
Maybe how many people on this board are qualified?
Not the other.
I'm not alone.
We're a true representation of the community.
That's right. Now we have the unqualified section.
Honest, you know.
Yeah.
I'll be the.
Oh.
Oh, so you saying busy, Charlie?
Yeah, I get busy.
Like a little bit evil. Well, that's what we do. First, I'll come on.
Plans. Season.
Oh, I used to just.
I got asparagus about this call.
Asparagus coming up too.
In the winter.
Look at this. I created tables for it.
Yeah.
We've been real good at that. Broccoli and cauliflower, so. Yeah.
It's not fun.
Okay. Yeah. Well, broccoli, maybe it's because I don't really like broccoli.
Some people don't.
No, it's all, I eat it because it's good for you.
Yeah, it is.
So.
Yeah, but it's good.
Stefan,
How are
you on this fine day?
I'm great.
Fabulous.
It was so beautiful today. I was working in the garden all morning and it was something up on my love,
I
paradise.
did that yesterday. I looked at my strawberries and went, what am I going to do with this mess?
Yeah, I just transplanted a bunch of strawberries and the river's beautiful right now. It's just,
Oh, it's bad. Bad.
it's a nice time here.
It is.
Spring and fall, those are my favorite. Each summer, I don't like that. I used to like swim there more than they would say.
I went drowned.
It's like that cold water, just to let you good. It always gets that time nowadays.
Well,
Here's
Yeah. I just do my little breast. Yeah.
Well, I already texted Mike that you got sourdough.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
So
Yeah, we got a nice like planted sources and got them all. About that tall, I had my something like those being or something.
Yeah, I got some
But she was hoping.
I actually got some.
Make it on
Really great tomato plant.
Yeah.
Instead of, like,
I stick them so I bought them.
Okay, put a milk jug over them.
They're not even in the ground.
Oh, okay.
They're in the house.
Yeah.
Try planting them from the little six packs from the where it's.
I am.
And then like, they're probably too early, they'll probably end up throwing them away, and kick myself and slap and wasting time.
Well, I live up higher, so you don't, I don't put tomatoes in the ground until at the earliest May. Or maybe a little bit before midnight.
I gotta get
Oh, really?
yeah, plant some early in the ground.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and get those early, like to have tomatoes before Fourth of July.
Oh, I wish I had to year round.
Yeah, me too.
You were buying in the stores like eat.
I don't even buy them anymore, maybe Costco every once.
I don't.
Because he doesn't quite understand it. He's like, he's all this money. Now it's not the time.
No, it's like work, like they're working. Yeah, it's fine. So have you guys been doing any good on our big search? Or intended?
I've not done it back because it's still open. I did talk to Joe a little bit.
From the candidates.
There are some applications.
See, you feel pretty good about it, you, like you maybe.
I don't know about
Well, I'm worried about, that we're not gonna get any good ones.
Oh, we'll get funds. Come on.
You'll have to step up, Todd. You'll have to step up.
Yeah, exactly. No more being lazy, letting Joe do all the work.
Besides those, we're not qualified.
I get the title of trouble causer enough the way it is, Don. Well, the best thing about it is we've got you and Leah to take care of us, so.
Here we go. Good.
We know you guys are always on the job. It actually does make a
Good thing.
huge difference. Yeah. It
If
does.
left to me, boy, we'd be.
Yeah, you too, Val. You're on the job pretty good too, so you three will
Thanks,
still
Matt.
carry us through. You'll make up the difference.
So
It's just,
Is Clint gonna be here tonight, I wonder?
So I haven't heard anything. No,
Is he sold?
I don't even think he's listed yet, is he? Yeah, I don't think he's. I mean, he bought,
Happy lot.
he purchased land. See,
Okay.
look, where the little.
They purchased that there? They got built?
Sign in on the. Apparently.
That's no fun.
That's what I thought.
That's pretty young. Couples. That's pretty rare.
The pictures of the property, it's beautiful. It sounds
Sign in on
perfect for
the-
them, but.
Gotta take my.
Wow.
Right.
That's a big project.
I don't know what it is. I think I'll have to do
Where do I start this?
Brussels. Hey, Joe.
I didn't.
It's still there.
It's an individual.
Yeah. Nice try, Sean.
I know, we gotta wake up, plan for Laura shows up. Laura said she might be, she was trying to make it on time. I have to take her to the doctor. And I've not heard a thing from Clint. So,
Well, she hasn't even heard from me. I haven't talked to him lately. I'm kind of worried about him.
who?
Shit, I heard his knee. He tore some stuff up in his knee.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about him that he's gonna be able to get it fixed and.
Yeah, I don't know. He was supposed to get an MRI sometime this month. I don't know.
I need to give him a call. Or they never answer the phone anyways. I always have to do with the message.
So for me,
Really? See, that's what it is. I don't suspect when it's just like conspiracy. I'm getting big excited with it, feel like.
not feeling the love with that?
That's true.
It doesn't make it good.
So you really good to see you. Always. I was hoping you'd arrive.
I know so.
So you can watch him.
We still Sherman's?
Brianna and Mike can't be here. Laura said she might be late. Orange, right?
You're right on time.
It's my style, sliding sideways.
Well, fashion where you're late. You know.
Okay.
You hear it? Yeah. Start with the.
Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we approve our agenda.
I moved to the French Nazi.
Oh, moved and seconded, all in favor? That's easy. Okay. Student of the Month Awards.
That's what she pays on paper.
Uh-huh.
That's part of me.
It is the best part of the meeting. Nobody sticks around afterward.
That's good, they know it's the best part of the meeting.
It's fun. I didn't know. Then let's start with high school. How about that? Okay. We have Maggie Brown.
School.
Here goes Maggie.
I'm excited. This kid's awesome.
You're on this side first. Maybe she just told me to be funny.
Yeah.
Hey, nice try. It's not that easy.
I don't know if you had to do.
Oh, yes.
You're welcome. So, I'm proud to nominate Maggie Brown for Student of the Month. Maggie's energy is contagious, and she has a way of making learning enjoyable while still staying focused on her goals. Learning can be difficult and challenging at times, such as realizing how much bacteria is located around the school. I'll never forget the day we pulled the petri dishes out of the incubator for the first time. Maggie's face was priceless. Even though it was dirty work, Maggie persevered through. Maggie also demonstrates natural leadership qualities both on the court and in the classroom. She steps up when needed, supports classmates, and models positive behavior, whether working in groups or independently. She can be counted on and to follow through. Overall, Maggie represents the qualities we value in our school community: positivity, growth, leadership, and responsibility. For these reasons, I wholeheartedly nominate Maggie for Student of the Month.
How's the family wants to put with the student? I'm sure that's.
Oh, yeah, you're playing.
I got sitting.
Just because you think.
I got this, but I'll send stuff for you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the sixth grade daughter of Crystal Harper of Riddle. Oh. What? I'm reading something and it doesn't quite make sense.
I didn't type it.
I'm pretty. What was I?
She was nominated by sixth grade teacher, Mr. Geiger.
Nice to see you.
Yes. The neat thing about this award was Alyssa Lucas, she was recognized as Student of the Month by her sixth grade classmates. So we all voted, and they voted for her. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Her peers clearly see in her kindness, her dedication, her positive energy. That makes the classroom a better place every day. You're willing to help people, you're kind. A nice place. Alyssa consistently shows up with a great attitude and a willingness to support those around her, qualities that make her a true leader among her friends. So congratulations to Alyssa on this well-deserved recognition. Her classmates made an excellent choice.
All right.
Come on, we're going up there.
Take a picture. Older sister. No, there's food. We're proud of our heritage. There you go. That's your hair. You go.
That's a good one. That's a great one. You bet. Excellent.
Why, excellent.
And she brought hers with her. The kid was my kid.
Perfect. I don't get to see it.
It's going to be a mystery.
Fourth grade son of Curtis and Stephanie Engel, nominated by Mrs. Piper. Oh, that's not the right.
All right, well, it's not a good one. Okay, so I'm here on behalf of Russell for Student of the Month. And I actually started working with Russell last year when he was in third grade. He would come into my class for reading, and that was really fun, just getting to know him and kind of enjoy him. And so even 1 year ago, he demonstrated the same amazing qualities as a student and as a person. He continues to amaze me with his effort to be kind and to be selfless to his peers and to his teachers. He is extremely helpful and joyful And, he does everything that you ask him for. He loves to help out people who are, maybe a few steps behind him. He strives to stay out of drama and trouble, and is a great friend. He often is a team captain or a mediator in his time, but I also put the expert. Academically, he is talented in most areas. He is a great writer with excellent depth in his stories. He is a mathematician and excited to share his ideas and strategies with his peers. He is an excellent reader and reads books much bigger than I would attempt. Last year he was in the 1 million word club, and I think he's going to exceed that this year. He also believes that Day Street should have an engineering class. So if you have any questions about that, go talk to Russell. All around, he's an outstanding student and always tries to do his best. So this is why he's well deserving of this honor. Student honor.
And he clearly loves attention.
Now you have to smile for your parent. That's right. Oh,
You're gonna do great, bud.
Sports in the meeting.
The say. Or you can say.
Thank you all.
I just won't win it. Yeah.
What's this American positive? Good families and. Yeah.
Just so that what I'll do is, I'll send, well, obviously the Browns work here, so that's not a problem. But the other ones, I'll send through the parent emails that you have all in the system, so that you get the phones.
Perfect. There is some garlic sourdough up there, if you guys, garlic cheese sourdough.
Yeah.
Hungry and want any? Or if you're not hungry, go ahead. All right, charter board meeting report.
Yes, so we meet just before this thing, so I look like Clint. The captain goes, Jim, I believe you have a meeting in like 2 minutes. And so, anyway, so they met tonight, which actually, it's really evolving into really a neat group of kids that are reporting on all kinds of stuff. It's really very nice. And we have a full crew now, so we are able to do business every time we meet. But tonight, they did have some discussion about a couple of things that you guys would want to know about. One of them is Mr. Koch actually sent a request that they consider purchasing a 7th grade life science textbook because we don't evidently have one. Okay, so that's something that they're going to be working on, and there may be requests coming to this group that we purchase a book for life science, just
What is life science? Is that?
biology.
Oh, biology.
Yeah. Life science is a little lower key than biology, but yeah.
Uh-huh.
The first step that. And then they also went through the contract to review the points that the board's gonna look at tonight. They had a recommendation with regards to the pre-K question that we have. Their recommendation is that the board consider the contract to say kindergarten through 12, primarily because their concern is that if it did say P through 12, that the district could have a degree of fiscal liability should Preschool Promise ever stop being funded by Preschool Promise, that the board might be in a position where then all of a sudden now the community see that they have to promote a pre-K, which would be like a $200,000 change in budget for us. So they recommend just keep it at K-12. And the pre-K could then be under the umbrella of Douglas County School District 15, whereas the charter school could be K-12. And that's just simply what they got discussed up. Well, there's one other thing, it's in your agenda later, so.
That makes sense. We talked a little bit about that before, and that looks like the right resolution.
All right, I don't see any public for inputs. Great discussion items. Look, we're at the charter contract.
Good.
Talked about the second part.
You want me to speak to this at all? or-
Section 12A3,
Yeah, so,
I didn't see any changes in here like I thought there were gonna be, but
no, where, some side there?
I didn't see anything under 12A3 when I looked at it.
You can check that full. Was it in 12A4, was it? You're going to do something more? No, this, I know this was updated, but I thought. Did you go,
It's there in the one that I have attached.
it's in the one
Is
that's.
that what you're talking about?
It's there.
Yes, it is. That you catch it. Yes, so. The last time. So last time, the board was concerned because last time you didn't have any justification for why this rule existed. And I was directed by you to go back and inquire as to why this statement about failure to maintain sound financial management system for one or more consecutive years was listed as one of the criteria for why the charter could be dissolved. So I went back and I spoke with our attorney about it, Rebecca Dickinson, and she gave me the ORS citations for it, which are now included in there. And what that basically explains is that in all of the charters, there's a list of things that are supposed to be included. And for some reason, our list didn't include that one. So she just added it in there and didn't include the citations of the ORSs. So I asked her for those so that we can actually have those stipulations. And she said it's boilerplate language, is what it is in charter school contracts. So I added it in, and there she be, majestically. There she be. Except. And the other thing that I was asked to look at was the pre-K, K thing.
You remember that?
What page was that on? I think it was earlier on.
Oh, 4A.
Yeah, there it is.
Right, so. Are we,
Find it from the Charter Board's recommendation. I mean, how they feel, I was kind of wondering the same thing. All what they did at that point in time. Preschool.
anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Seems logical to me.
All right. Any questions on the 12A3 clarifications? Any other concerns or issues with the charter contract? Oh. All right,
I think so, I think we're.
fabulous. It is, I think, right. That's already under the action items, so, perfect. Classified contract. Yeah.
So one of the things I'll just say about last night, once I'm pretty good, it's usually too far is, one of the things that you won't see in the classified contract is preschool clubs or the pre-K. Okay?
Oh,
Okay, and so, it will be coming as an MOU addition that we'll put on this so that it's not woven in. I've already spoken to the association about that. Everybody's on the same page. All the salary scales on that MOU as well.
And it looked different, putting on our salary schedule, it didn't quite fit together. So we just said, let's keep it separate, that's like. Continue. Easier that way. And plus with the charter contract, just kind of get anything. Separated.
so,
That was actually recommended by the association.
so they're still part of this agreement, but their wage part is,
Right.
okay, separate. Okay.
Anybody have any questions? I'm sure you all reviewed it very carefully. Questions?
I'm reviewing this spread very carefully.
I'm a little distracted, but yes. Missing out there.
Glad you're enjoying it. All right, so if there's no more discussion on that, we will move on. Oh, Rihanna's not here. How am I supposed to explain her this? Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up in early May. We normally do a lunch, right? Lunch, yeah, we've done what, loaded baked potatoes?
That's time already? Seems like that was just yesterday.
Right?
Literally, it doesn't seem like it was very, well, when I got your budget report email, I'm like, or your budget meeting.
I know. Again.
Those are guys.
Right. So, I just wanted to get that out there, so we were all thinking of it, because by the time we meet in April, and we're gonna be really distracted with the superintendent search. Yes, now I do know that Miss Brianna loves planning parties and is great at it, so I am.
And she's not here.
And she's. So I figured this would be right up her alley. So,
We will be getting an email.
a good chance, now, mind you, she's never been here for it, so, yeah. Sure,
We have time.
yes, we have time.
We'll be meeting a few more times. So.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Joe's report. Joe's stuffing his face, hold on. All right, we got the TAP grants.
So yes,
We have applied for.
so
Mhm.
there's a variety of TAP grants. I just want to make sure that I was kind of clear on this. And we've applied for all of them. Now I told you before, I think I've told you guys. So one of them is the Awesome Grant, which you guys know all about that, pays for half the book. Okay, so we've applied for that. That won't be awarded until December. Okay,
We don't apply for it.
but we don't apply for it until December.
We have to have our
We have to have-
grants done before
Okay,
we apply.
That's what he meant to say.
so we have. Usually you had to have the two TAP grants. Okay, one of them, the state's taken away by doing the assessments for us now, so we still have the long-range assessment we have to do. Okay? On the 16th of this month, we'll find out if we are awarded the TAP grant for that. That's a $40,000 grant. If we're awarded that $40,000, then we will put out an RFP to find a long-term, to find a company that will do the long-term planning for it. We were speaking with Straight Line today about that process. They're going to help us actually draft an RFP so that when the 16th rolls around, we'll be able to hit the market with it, like right out of the gate and start looking right away. And so we're on top of that one. The second TAP grant that we applied for is the seismic assessment, which is an assessment. We're requesting an assessment be done as part of our main building for an additional seismic upgrade over there. It covers 2/3 of that building. We have a third TAP grant that we've applied for that checks the engineering on the roof in the gymnasium, the trusses. You guys might remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're waiting on that one. And the fourth TAP grant that we have is for asbestos abatement. And we are in on all of those TAP grants, just waiting to hear back on them. And I wanted to kind of be real specific about what they were so that you guys can start tracking with this as we go forward. Okay, the first of them we should hear back before school break.
But when we got asbestos assessed, that we determined that we were really, really good for asbestos.
So
a layer of fluorine or something, square.
So, there's state requirements that require us to have our site, okay, so we are good because we don't have what is currently friable, exposed asbestos. We still have asbestos, okay? And so, we still have about 19 different sites in our buildings where it's exposed, which is what's important to check. And we're supposed to check its exposure every 6 months,
Oh,
okay? And what this does is this actually brings in a whole assessment of all of that again. Okay, and we're supposed to have, and I'll get this wrong, so forgive me, but it's like every 3 years? Yeah, every 3 years, we're supposed to have a full reassessment done. Okay? And it's been 3 years.
sounds like maybe they should just spend the money to get rid of the asbestos instead of reassessing it.
Look at it every time.
Sorry, I got like on my side.
Put in the phone for camps and you can't get it. Yeah, so, no, you're not wrong. Actually, when I interviewed with you guys, that's one of the questions I asked you was about your asbestos. I just read your report.
Oh,
And that's what you told me, it was good. It's just good.
There's plenty of it, but it's all covered.
No, it's good. You have a good asbestos. That's what I can do, yeah. You only have a good asbestos.
We already tried it.
So anyway, and I'll tell you honestly, we can train our staff to do those 6 month checks. And that's what we're trying to do is actually get somebody in here to train our staff to do that. Because we thought we had to hire out of, and it's not really necessary to do that. Because all they really do is they have a checklist of those 19 places, and they just go look at it. Hasn't changed, you know.
It doesn't all on that.
I-
I mean, like, if we know, like, what would be an example in this room?
The time.
The time. Yeah, so you just make sure there's like, yeah.
There's not like a chip that time.
No chip all the time.
Yeah.
No kid is licking the chip all the time.
Yeah, yeah, looks pretty good, you know.
And even if anybody had some kind of negative impact from it, nobody would know it till they're like old. So there's, it's like, and even then, nobody would know it because we didn't check our asbestos all along the way, so. It's just cancer, you know.
It's their fault.
Exactly. What a game.
Claim to be another one. Okay, Division 22 compliance update. So as I told you before, Division 22, we had one area that we had marked no because of information we had about our assessment, There's an assessment called essential skills. And they canceled them at COVID. And then they slowly started rolling them back in after COVID. And what they didn't do is actually give us that calendar of when they were reinstituting them. So then when Division 22 came out, they said, well, have you done this one? And we were unaware that that one was supposed to be done this year. So then we had to say, no, we have not. So when I did meet with ODE and talked with them about not just how it was not completed, but what our plan was for completing it. That also happened to just be like 3 days before our in-service meeting where we were doing the work. So I was able to tell them in great detail about what our plan was, how we we're going to execute it, and what our timelines were for completion. They were thrilled. They said, we wish everybody else was as organized as you guys are. Thank you very much. We won't bother you anymore. Basically, is the way that went. Which I'm really surprised because generally speaking, they want you to write a report about something. And so that went as well as it possibly could have. Bottom line is we now have staff that are in the process. Actually, Mr. Geiger is one of the teachers who's mostly working on the projects. We've got some places where they're done, like Mr. Koch's class, they're done. But Geiger's got work he's got to do for his because it wasn't known to him that this was the year his would have come up until about a month ago. So anyway, I just wanted to come back to you guys and let you know that while we were out of compliance, we are now well on our way back into compliance. And I just want to give you that assurance. Item 4 here is ODE's November facility condition report. This is that boy right here. Okay. Yes, that's right. I spared the paper. Okay. So in November, we had person come to us from ODE who said that they were going to do this assessment. Now, in the past, we had this assessment done. We had it done about 4 years ago by Straight Line, okay? The state of Oregon, because there's those 2 steps prior to the Awesome Grant, state of Oregon in their wisdom decided to unplug one of those and just have one entity do all of these for all the schools in the state, basically simplifying the process by not putting everybody in competition with the same people doing the work evidently. So this gal came in to do an assessment of our campus. I gave her two things to work from. One thing I gave her to work from was a map of our campus that showed all the buildings. The other thing I gave her was a copy of Straight Line's report from 4 years prior. So, well, because they also gave me, they sent me a survey asking me to give them information that was in that report, which is basically, please list for us all the schools, the square footage, the year they were built, the year any changes were made in the structure of those buildings. I'm like, wait,
Please do the assessment report.
time, oh, yeah, I do the assessment report, yeah. So it's like, so I gave them those things, I said, send them on the way, and then they spent the day here. They were going through they went through every shed, they went through everything, okay? All of that to generate this document, which I will not disturb you with much, but I do want you to understand a few things about it, okay? Today when we spoke with, Mr. Marshall at Straight Line, I asked him a question about what the state's intentions were behind this document, because I was concerned that this would be like a standing artifact about our district's facilities that would stand for, the next decade in some way, okay? Because they'd standardized the procedure in developing it, then it's gonna be holy or something. Well, the reason I was concerned about that is because of the accuracy of the document itself, obviously. Okay, this was, like I said, done in November of 25, which happens to also be the month in which we actually got checked out of our gymnasium. Okay, we had a little bit of delay, but it was in November when they finally signed off. This document here tells us, it describes facility conditions. Almost everything in this describes our facility conditions as good or fair. You're gonna struggle to find one that is like poor, and you're gonna struggle to find anything that says excellent. Yet, the exterior surface of our new gym is only good.
And it's brand new.
That's brand new. Okay, and so it's like, what the?
Excellent.
Well, and it makes me wonder if Straight Line's report said 4 years prior, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
I was gonna ask to the level of plagiarism from the report that they got. I bet you if you look at it, there's.
They were very excited.
Oh, I bet they were, yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting paid. We don't really have to do nothing.
Yeah.
So, good state job.
Yeah, so anyway, all of that to say that what Mr. Marshall said is he said it's kind of a check mark more so than an artifact. And so no reason to be worried about that. But at the same time, I do want to go in the public record, my concern for the accuracy of the document. Okay? And I want you guys to know that as well, since I'm a short timer here. Right? But anyway,
No doubt they'll get paid and come in and do it again next year.
well, actually, you know what? If you guys call me next year, I'll come and be done with it.
My comment on that, is, one of the main things that it said was in really poor condition was our bleachers down by the football field, which I
That
thought
was
was
accurate.
accurate.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I have, and it, they say it needs replaced right away. So I did put some money in the budget for next year, if the board would like to do that.
Hopefully safety concern, basically. You're gonna fall through the bleachers.
Yeah, so there are some things in there that have some validity. They also, more sheds back here being in poor repair. Yeah,
So who is Straight Line anyway? And
Straight Line is an engineering firm that did 4 years before, did this assessment of our facilities and our grounds, and they did a long-term plan 4 years ago for the campus. And they also were deeply involved with the board on the work that the board was doing on the bond. They did back then. And so the gentleman there came up with the schematic that was used for the bond conversations, as well as he helped do some of the preparation for the bond and some of the advertising.
Okay. So gave us a lot of information, kind of educated us a little bit on the process. But he's good, that's a good guy, that's like.
And the facility assessment is mostly looked at as, they look at the size of your school and if you grow anymore, you know, what's your capacity look like? So they look at all the buildings on how much can you grow? And then that's how I kind of try to think about the condition of everything.
Were the people tall, did they bump their head in the cafeteria?
They decided that we can only be an elementary school.
Good thing, right? Yeah.
We're limited by
I
our
look for
cafeteria.
cafeteria, what they say about the cafeteria.
So were they involved with the 20-year plan or whatever then, as far as facts of straight line and stuff? Yes.
Straight line hasn't been yet, but I believe they may be in the future. And I just say, put it that way because I think whoever gets our long-term plan contract is gonna have to be involved in that.
We're required to go for an RFP, which means that because it's over 25,000, you have to put it out there as a bid for anybody to bid on. So if it's over that threshold of 25,000, if it's under, then we can kind of just choose one. But since it's over, you have to put it out there a certain way, a certain time for people to look at it, you know, so it's compare apples to apples and have interviews and contracts.
Mr. Marshall today said, you know, if for some reason you guys don't get the grant, he said, we can still talk about us doing a long-term plan for you guys for less than what you're required to pay. So we got, that's the backup plan. Cool. Yeah, it's a possibility if it all comes to pass. He says he already has much of that information in his previous work here. So. And then SEI report with government ethics, as you guys know, every year annually. I'm really sorry that Mike and Leanna aren't here because they're the ones who've never done it before. And so we're gonna have to coach them along, okay, about that annual report that you do to the government ethics office about all the things you do in ethical. Anyway, that's coming due, and if you haven't gotten our emails yet, you shouldn't give them a soon.
It's due April 15th.
You're talking about when they asked us all the questions, and we
Yeah.
seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
I got one of them kind of told that, so I'm not even running again, so I'm not gonna do this, and well, you have to do it, you're out today. Basically, really? Oh, yeah. They want to be okay, that's right. You know,
You're serious?
it's not those, it's not a big deal, I just. Actually, why?
I just I felt like there's something else I had in my report that I don't see listed there, so. I'm just gonna shake my head knowledge of the, and that's all I have to say today.
Okay. Consent agenda items. We have the approval of the minutes from the February 9th meeting. Oh.
She's looking at, okay, so that's,
Updated one.
that's the updated one there, because there's the report of the RFP for publication. So, I did tell you this a little bit earlier, but we are going to publish the RFP as soon as we are awarded the grant. Okay,
Yes.
and we're planning that publication like right now. I'm working, he's gonna send me a list of questions, I'll answer them so we can have it locked in and we'll send out as soon as we are awarded.
It was.
And we have good reason to believe we'll be awarded that grant.
Good.
Is that a
Thank you.
state or federal grant?
State.
State.
That's. Where'd that money come from? Okay. Are we ready now? Are you
That's.
are you through, executive director?
Entirely seen that.
Okay. All right, approval of minutes. I did review those and Donna said she got a D. I considered that D for distracted. But- And then we have Matt Giles renewal of at-will agreement for the water management program. Questions on that? No. Revised contract for Jenny Merrill. She's our pre-K.
So let me just comment on that, Maria, so you guys know what that's about. They did not place her correctly in the salary scheme.
Oh, they didn't?
Yeah, Yeah.
Okay, you did, yeah.
So, yeah.
I knew you
so-
were looking into that.
Yeah,
Too low or too high?
too low. It's never too high. Thank goodness it's not too high, because that's horrible when things are too high, because then they have to reimburse like immediately.
Uh-huh.
Not, yeah, you don't ever want to be too high. But, so it's always good to be able to go to someone and say, hey, you're gonna get both. But, yeah. When you're too few of experience.
So just gonna double check. Okay. Resignation of Miss Days, our music teacher. Any questions or discussion on any of those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve all the consent agenda items.
Is there resignation for the end of the school year?
Yes. Thank you, good question. Yeah.
Everything good? I mean, it's good resignation?
No, it's just, so she stepped in to do music this last year, when, actually Stephanie Engel was here with Russell's more. Stayed home with her littlest one. And she's been teaching music therapy. Okay, and so we knew she had a music background, and so we just thought we'd see if she'd be interested in teaching, and she said, yeah, so she's taught this last year. But it's not where her passion is. Her passion is actually in music therapy, so she wants to go back to music therapy specifically. But she's really done us a huge favor in teaching music. this last year.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that Stephanie Engel might come back next year. We're gonna open this so what happens is once the board does accept the resignation like this, then it gives me permission to open the position.
Yeah.
And then, so we hope to open it like next week and see what we get for candidates. Cool.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda items as written.
Okay.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Everyone. Okay. Monthly financials.
Okay.
From Leah.
So I'm gonna kind of open the revenue and expenditure report first and talk budget at the same time. Because part of it, it's been all over the place, this budget this year with the state. This November, they're telling us we were gonna be making cuts this year, and there's gonna be cuts next year. So we were like, okay, we really need to try to make sure we're only doing our needs, this year and trying to slow the leak and sort of we can figure out what they're gonna do. They said they'll let us know in January, so let us know in January, that, hey, we're not gonna be cutting this year for 25, 26. We said, okay, perfect. We can kind of figure that out. And then, but they're still thinking there'd be cuts for the following year, but they wouldn't know until the short session was over, which just ended. We just finally last week let us know that we are fully funded. They didn't cut anywhere in the state school fund. And at this point too, they're gonna keep our SA fund, grant and our high school success grant. It's staying at the same. We're probably not gonna see an increase, but we're gonna just see a flat funding of it, which is good news. So then we can kind of go, okay, so we can kind of see, and we've been looking at, and Joe and I let go, what's the rest of the year looks like, and what are some things we can get in this year's budget done, so we just purchased a new, what is it called? What did we just buy, for the gym floor? For the, force scrubber. Yeah, force scrubber. So that one's about 15 years old. We're having some more issues with it and having to keep replacing parts, so we said, let's just get a new one. It's gonna last for the next with the warranty. So, that was our big purchase. The other one that came through was we got a new grant called Breakfast at the Bell. And the state said, we're giving you guys $2,023 you can only use it for breakfast after the bell happened. So we get a lot of kids that come in about 8:39. They come in, they didn't have breakfast, or they didn't make breakfast, but they also didn't eat at home. So they're still hungry. So they usually go down to our lunch lady and say, do you have something? So what our lunch crew came up with, they said, can you get us a glass door refrigerator that we can put down there and put cheese sticks in it, bananas, some apples, you know, things that they can go down, reach in there and get a cheese stick, go back to class. They've had something for, you know, so she'll have little things at the top for breakfast after the bell. Makes sense. And then we had another 500 left over after purchasing that refrigerator. And we wanted to get a vacuum sealer. Because what sometimes happens is that she'll have leftover sandwiches at the end, but we can't do anything about it, so other than throw them away or get them eaten as much as we can. So what happens is that you can vacuum seal it, put it in that refrigerator. And then we're trying to figure out if we can get at the bottom and say athletes who are staying after school, and tell the coaches, hey, there might be some food in there. But I'm not sure if we're able to send the athletes down there because they can't eat all the breakfast. So we're not sure how we're gonna make it work. But yeah, that's the goal, to somehow figure that out. Have any leftovers that, yeah, have a little spot for them, some of the kids, and there's nowhere for them to go. And we're looking into, I'm looking at getting a vending machine, but there's so many restrictions with that. Whereas it has to have a timer, so that, you know, 3:45, now it can open, you know, once 3:45, then the athletes would have access to a vending machine. They're the only way to do it. So anyways, those two kind of bigger purchases that we've purchased recently.
And so this grant was made available to us based on our need, or they just like put it out there to all the schools they all have the same basic needs as we have?
They put it out there and everybody got the same amount.
Wow. So they actually recognized there was this need there for
There's a need.
after the bell breakfast?
Yes. So
Somebody's paying attention.
the cafeteria program, yeah, is in the state is pretty interesting. They've got a lot of grants out there. They're willing to put the work in to. Yeah, so also one we went out for is our FA advisor wanted to put in an orchard. And so we had a farm to CMP grant. That we've applied for. He said, hey, would you give us $8,500 to build a fence, doing 2 gates, buy matured trees so that we can then grow some fruit and then we could use it toward our cafeteria later on. And then she wanted special dirt. We said, you know, have somebody actually install it. And they said, we love it, do it. So we just got approved for that last week.
Awesome.
And it goes into next year. So it ends in June. So we need to do it all June 30th, 2027.
And the FFA kids were basically caretaking.
Yes. And help them with
Very
butter.
easy to
During
burn.
the summer, and now putting a water system in, and so it has, all those funds would cover.
You could just put it in the swampland over there.
Good.
Here's
You're tough negotiating out the left center field.
How did they determine where the orchard was going?
So they did a soil test. Our advisor had somebody come out for some other reason, and then she had them do a soil test out where she wanted, which is by the pre-K. And I came back, that was perfect. And worked it there, and we asked the maintenance crew at the end way. We probably didn't get it, yeah, I know.
The fence gonna be done in-house or,
We were gonna hire someone.
cause the FFA could build a fence.
So I mean, as it comes down, you know, that was when we budget for it, we put it to the grant, we're always like, we try to put all those costs in. And so, but now when we go to plan to actually do it and get full costs of somebody build it, and so if we put all that in, you know, get more confirmed numbers.
Cool.
So those are the two, and I think we're gonna apply for another one. She wants to put a hydroponic system in our greenhouse. So we're gonna apply for funding to get that. For vegetables, again, we want to be able to grow our own veggies that we could either think the goal of the FFA wants to then sell it to the school, except for, I see that inside. With all our. Anyway, so looking back, I guess that budget wise, we're doing, we're right on track. We've been able to, I guess, yeah, slow down our, on supplies a little bit. Now that we're kind of, I guess, landing the plane at the end of this year, and I'm budgeting and trying for next year, our goal is to budget at 2.5 million as our ending fund balance for next year. So we are right about there, and I've got a lot of encumbrances in there to try to collect with our buffer to make sure as we that I think we're gonna be about that number going forward. And then next board meeting, I'm gonna bring in our transfers. Usually you guys always, on the budget this year, we budgeted 330,000 as transfers to go out to different funding. And usually we wait till about April to see where the funds actually need to go. You know, do we need to spend a little bit more on our curriculum fund, or does it need to go to cafeteria?
Transportation.
You know, unemployment, stuff like that. And so, I'll bring all that for next time to look at. Right now, I think I want to save some of that transfer. I want to save about 55,000 and not transfer it to anything and leave it in the general fund to roll it over for next year. To help keep the budget. Because one of the things we are looking at for budget for next year is that since we're in the biennium or the state, which means that they're in every 2-year, we already bargained, and now that contract is every 2 years, right? So they gave us first 49% of that contract. Now next year, you're gonna only increase, you're gonna be 51%, right? Which puts us getting only about $94,000 extra unless we get 20 more kids. But our expenses are gonna go up about 200,000. So you're looking at where is that deficit gonna come out of? And so, yeah, we've been looking at those budget numbers and we'll bring all that to the budget meeting. But that's what we're trying to figure out, how to save a little bit here, from here, and a little bit off the top here to get it all to, so that nobody loses their jobs.
And the expenses were primarily the raised insurance expenses.
The primary expenses, we are in agreement with our with our classified, so that's gonna be an increase. We, our admin also does an increase at the same time, and your license did an increase. They had already bargained last year for another 5% increase, so it's just your increases that.
Cost of living.
Everything goes up.
Everything goes up.
Revenue.
So it's nothing really one thing, but so far, I mean, we are still doing very well.
Yeah, when we bargained these contracts, we bargained with COLA rates.
Mhm.
And so with classified COLAs are 333.
The
Wait,
first year's gonna be-
is
Some are gonna be 3, some are
5,
5,
yeah,
depending on,
their category.
I don't know, some are EAs were lower.
We had a couple of areas that were really underpaid.
Yeah, you mentioned that, kept playing catch up a
But
little bit
yeah,
with the goals.
but in our license, their COLA is gonna be 5.
Any questions? And then voucher report, is there any questions on that?
The shop labor things that are in.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on? That's the only question I have.
That one, so we had to, it wasn't working. So they said it could have been one of two things, and both things, one was gonna cost 2,500 and the other one was like 3,500. So we said, you replace the $2,500 one, we'll give you back 1,000
Yeah, I think there's 1,000.
back for that one if you send them the old part to them. And if that doesn't work, then we can replace the other one to see if that one is also.
And they take the old part
They
back.
told her.
So-
So yeah, so both parts ended up being not working. And was made paper both. But the cost is also, doesn't include the fact that we got to deposit it back. Like we couldn't, or the other two parts.
I didn't have any questions on the voucher report. All right, the enrollment report.
So to hold that up a little bit, Donna, one of the things here that I really wanted to point out is our totals. You see that we budgeted at 225 students. Started the year at 243. Okay, and as you go across, you see that we dipped down to 236, 233, 236, 232 is where we're currently. Okay, which Lee and I were reflecting on today, that's actually really good consistency at this time of the year. Which we usually by now we're seeing that starting to taper off. And we haven't seen that yet this year. I mean, I expect to lose a few more in the spring, but I mean, actually our numbers, we're still above even our projected, so.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? You know,
These numbers would really affect the budget until next year when everything gets actuals. Then they'll go, okay, perfect, we owe you guys 70,000 because you had more kids. Kind of this.
And we're anticipating a boost in our revenue for the start of next year as well, right? 94,000.
2%.
Hey, time to move into executive session. We will do that by motion.
I move that we enter executive session.
Moved by Laura, seconded by Charlie, all in favor. That's everyone.
I think I have to get invited to the meeting now, but I'm not taking off as I'm not. So.
I have no opposition to that, particularly since one of the things we're discussing is staffing
standing out there crying, but he's coming.
Oh, we'll get some bark. Oh, exactly.
I'm sorry, Joe, that's longer than I told.
We decided at the end that he's ready to fire. Tough choice. You've got enough of you, so.
All right, so we are looking at. I'm looking at Joe.
Action items.
No, we're still in executive session.
Yeah.
We're looking at the stuff.
Unmuted.
We're done. All right.
Welcome back.
All right, so now we are on our action items. These will be a one by one. Ratify the 26-29 classified employee contract.
I'll make a motion to ratify the 2026 through 2029 contract as we reviewed it tonight.
I second that motion.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous? Okay, and to ratify the charter contract.
I move that we ratify the 2026 to 2036 charter contract.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous?
I want to do that again for 10 years.
Right. All right, now we need to accept the 26-27 licensed, spelled incorrect, personnel action. That's what we just reviewed, right? Executive session.
Oh, license. I move that we accept the 26-27 licensed personnel action.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous. And then we need to approve the superintendent's evaluation document.
I'll move to approve the superintendent evaluation that we went over tonight.
Moved, do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Huh?
You get to see it.
I suppose so. I didn't bring an extra. How's that for being fit?
I want to.
Yours looks nothing like mine, but.
Well,
Versus how yours printed out.
Small print. I'm not as blind as you.
I mean, I'm gonna hope these two are the same.
Two of yours.
First, I will read. The Board of Directors of the Days Creek School District has completed the annual evaluation of Superintendent Director LaFontaine for 25-26. The past year has been positive for education in our school district. All 7 board members have served on the board for at least 1 full year and have been able to observe and be a part of the successes achieved this year. The evaluation focused on 9 professional standards and 3 goals. Regarding the 9 professional standards, we determined that Superintendent LaFontaine's performance was accomplished in all areas of visionary leadership, policy and governance, communications and community relations, effective management, instructional leadership, resource management, ethical leadership, and labor relations, and effective in curriculum planning and development. These goals were set by the board and superintendent together. The 3 goals were developed by Superintendent LaFontaine and the board together, in which he was evaluated on. They are: Goal 1, by June 1st, 2026, Douglas County School District 15 will have a renewed and approved charter school contract in place and recognized by the state of Oregon. Goal number 2, by June 1st, 2026, the superintendent will have overseen the construction of a 10-year facility plan. This plan will provide details about desired changes to the current physical plant while displaying the priorities in those upgrades. This plan will include a campus map that will detail the entire infrastructure of the campus, so future developments can be assured of conflicts that could arise from overhead or underground utilities. Goal 3. The superintendent will manage the completion of the seismic upgrade of the gymnasium in a way that closes the project on time and keeps any impact on instruction at a minimum. The board determined that Superintendent LaFontaine has done an accomplished job of attaining all 3 goals. And then there's more detail that I don't think you want to sit and listen to me.
That's on you. That's really generous of you. Thank you.
You get an A+, Joe.
Well, this job has been a blessing. I've told you that so many times. I was telling Todd, I don't know if it was last month or maybe the month before, but how often is it in your life where you're at this intersection and both options are just wonderful opportunities, okay? If I stay here, I love it here. So that's not a bad turn to take, for me, And then the other one is, let me see, okay, then I'm gonna go just travel with my wife. I mean, I'm so deeply blessed and you guys are very much involved in that because you permitted me this opportunity to come here and try to help out as best I can. So thank you.
You made it so easy for us, Joe, and not all of us, myself especially, all of us are not really super qualified in every way to be on boards, making decisions like we're making. But you have just made it so easy for us, and our decisions have all been good because we've had your leadership in making those decisions. So we appreciate it.
I think you guys asked the right questions. And I was commenting the other day with one of the candidates who called me, okay? And they asked about the board. And I said, you'd be kidding me. I said, I love our board. I said, it's not that they always agree with me. That's not it. I don't expect anybody to always agree with me. I said, they have such a heart for the community that I know that they're a representative of the community, and I see them making decisions that they believe are in the community's best interest. And I mean, that's up and down the way. I said, I don't see any type of dissonance at all on the board. And I can tell you that when you do this type of a job, you run into that. Okay. And so even though I wasn't the superintendent in Portland, that doesn't mean I didn't catch some of the periphery damage from the board members who weren't like aligned, it happens. It happens. So, you guys have been easy for me.
You've been a real blessing to this district, for sure. And I told you when you first started, I was one of the people that was disappointed. We had somebody in mind, and that whole story, and so I don't go back into that.
Yeah, you even called me ugly. And remember.
I don't think I did.
No, maybe it wasn't you.
But now I learned really quickly that you were a blessing, and I believe that God provides just the right person at just the right time, and you have been that person.
But he's taking care of me too, I'm down like 30 pounds. Seriously, not in an unhealthy way.
Right.
I mean, honestly,
Not because you're so stressed out.
Yes, yeah, no, actually, it's been good for me,
Eat more ice cream.
I'm down with that. I'm totally done. That's all my weaknesses.
And have a piece of bread.
Appreciate you guys. This is very.
Really, this school came out of a pretty tough period when the finances were like crazy. I mean, I was reading about it in the newspaper and hearing about it throughout the community, and it was pretty poisonous. Like,
Your guys' finances are like dialed. This
Oh, I
lady
know
is
it.
doing an amazing job.
and then before you, the administrations, there were people that did not really appreciate everything that was going. But the whole thing now has shifted into a zone that just feels so positive moving forward that it is just I hope everybody's really enjoying it that is in the community and seeing those transitions. I don't stay real closely connected to the school, but I've been hearing about it for years, and this is a really good place to be in.
It's not easy to walk away from this. I'll just say that straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that with all sincerity. And it's not because I don't want to leave something behind. Actually, I think what I'm leaving behind is in a very good place
Yeah.
for somebody to pick up and move forward.
Oh, yeah.
No, I know we've done some work here and I think we've made great progress. And I think there's room for more progress. And I'd love to be in the middle of that, I mean, because it's not easy, there's some head knocking that goes on, but But at the end of the day, it's easy to see the end result because it's always what's best for kids.
Yeah.
So when you actually, when you look at your day and you look at your calendar, you go, ooh, I'm not looking forward to today. You know, this is gonna be rough. I gotta talk to so-and-so about this, that, or the other. And you're looking at that name on the thing. And you know, it's, when you're done, it's gonna be for the betterment of kids. And when you're done, the result you need for the betterment of kids is your target. It becomes easy, actually.
Yeah.
And then when you get past that and you're on the other side of it and you're going, I wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, you know, it's never that way. And then it's always one step forward, you know, a step forward.
And whenever you can walk away from something and look back at it and know that it's a really positive end, to that part of your life, that is such a good feeling because so many of us have been through things that you walk away, like divorces and stuff, where it's like, it's crushing.
Yeah,
You actually walk away from something that leaves you damaged.
yeah,
But to walk away from something and go, man,
yeah,
icing on the cake, that's beautiful.
yeah.
I mean, that's a wonderful thing. You gotta really embrace those moments.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I've walked away from some places and looked like, you know, look like a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's horrible.
So,
Don't look back.
Good endings are always good.
Exactly. Yeah, so, actually, only one, but yeah. This has been wonderful, you guys. Thank you for trusting me.
Fabulous.
Okay, no short timer, so it's not over yet.
Absolutely not. So I got a straw, so, let me tell you, man. I'll tell
You may even have another policy update, I don't know. Not that I want one right now.
No, I got, upcoming, all right? I told you in my bulletin here, week before last, that I connected with Cow Creek on the community center, okay? Yeah, good, rock solid. Leo was in the room when I got a chance to talk to him. I got them a copy of our basic schematic and a copy of basically a narrative that I created that explains all of the stuff, the community's involvement in the design and intent behind it. And they're like, we want to know more. When we're done, I'm going to share, these are her words, I'm going to share this with our core team who makes these decisions. And then we're going to have you come in and talk in greater detail with them.
Cool.
Okay? So with that kind of in my pocket, I then started the ball rolling on some of the other contacts that I know we need to make. So United Health Alliance, I've got a meeting with them on Wednesday. Okay, and they're in a position to actually give us a grant, in 7-figure grant from their, I'm gonna get it wrong, SHAPE? Can't remember what they need. Share, their share program. And they have smaller ones, but I want the big money. Okay, and so I'm gonna try and get in front of their board. And then Wednesday, I also am meeting with the Ford Family Foundation. Okay, and they don't have a new school director yet, so I'm gonna be meeting with the director who's the interim. I've already met with her before, but I'm like, I'm placed now where I need to be talking to them, okay? And I've already made contact with Representative Osborne, okay? To say, hey, this is what we're doing, and I want to know how the state of Oregon can help support this community as we're trying to develop this type of a thing in this community. And so I've sent him the schematic and some details as well. I know Virgil, I've known him for 40 years. And so I know he's going to come back at me with questions and support. And I also told him I want him to connect with Scarlatos, who's our actual representative. And then on Thursday, I have a meeting with Commissioner Freeman. Okay, to say, what can the county do to support this work we're doing out here? Okay.
Scarlatos is married for East State Budget.
Oh, is that right? We know that.
Yes.
Oh.
Very much ago.
Okay.
Hold over very long.
Good to know. Okay. So anyway, so. Yeah, no short timers here.
I was only teasing.
I know. And I know you know better than that too, but I'm just saying, I'm kind of excited because it's one of those things where I just, you wouldn't even believe how long I've been trying to get into Cow Creek. It's really ridiculous. I've been trying since like October, okay, to try to get the right contact. And if I told you the story, you'd think I was exaggerating how stupid it's been. Because literally everybody kept giving me the same number. And it was a dead-end number.
They scream a lot, well, they get hit up for money.
Oh, yeah. So I kept getting the same
You
email.
have to kind of get into the inner circle.
Yeah,
And it takes.
it took months, man. I mean, it's crazy. But man, when I finally heard from this guy, it was like, yeah, I was pretty excited about that.
Well, it's awesome that she was excited.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna, I guess we're on public record, but I'll just be honest, now, I'm gonna guilt the crap out of them. And I'm talking specifically Ford family, who has used this community's timber for generations. They need to be contributing back to this community. And to the Calgary Commission, how can you not be involved in a community center that's in the heart of your native land? Yeah. Yeah, right? So.
Especially when you start getting some other people, everybody's looking around going, who else is in? Well, you start getting some other people in and.
Yeah, yeah, if you don't want to be left.
They don't want to be left out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, so I'm excited.
Percentage of our students are tribal members?
What's that? How many?
What percentage of our student population is maybe tribal?
You know
It's
what?
not large.
It's not large. Yeah, it's not large. And I think, honestly, I believe that there's a real lack of declaration of it. Okay? Because when I'm actually talking to families, I find it seems like I'm talking to more than we have declared actually in our system. Because that number of our system is really small.
Interesting. Okay, do we have any director reports? Anything anybody wants to say?
Rumor has it that I bought some property in Harrison, so I
Yeah.
should clear out the rumor. I did. And it's bare land and.
Is it oceanfront?
Yeah, it's an ocean.
Whereabouts?
It's about 15 minutes south of Wickenburg, if you know where Wickenburg
I do,
is.
I do.
On Highway 60, okay, it's about a 15-minute trip to there. And it's
About 20 minutes outside Phoenix.
about an hour from downtown.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's, for us, it's really great because it is right on the state land border, so you can ride your side by side right out of your driveway.
So you can hit families by go across the border.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of elbow room. It's not a 7.5 acres for us, but because it's on that, their borders of state land, it's got a lot of elbow room. It's kind of out in horse country. There's a whole bunch of giant team roping training facilities and stuff out that way. So anyway, we're planning to build a house on it at some point, and we're gonna kind of get moving on that process, but it'll take a while. And our house will go up for sale when it's ready, and so we'll be here as long as we haven't sold it. It's kind of our plan, so could be a few months, could be 2 years. And until then, I'm happy to continue to do this.
Glad to have you on board for a while.
Well, I wouldn't have accepted the thing. I don't know. I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for you.
Oh.
Gonna be cowboy, but that's cowboy country.
It is yeah, we went into Wickenburg one day when we were down there last. I went to the Spur Cafe. And I'm telling you what, everybody had cowboy hats on, and yeah, it was great. Real down place. So, yeah, no.
I've got a nice spooky fun older community there in Wickenburg too.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think it'll fit us well.
Cool.
Good. That's awesome.
See, we call them ugly, you just call them old. Oh, yeah.
So on the announcements, I wanted to point out the IRRE survey window. You guys should have been notified about community input. Okay, in an email from IRRE. Steve Omstech, who is the head of that IRRE company, is going to be in the district on Thursday. You can be visiting with the admin team, talking about the survey results and how we can utilize some of the data going forward. But that survey window goes until the 20th, which is spring break. You haven't seen anything yet?
I have no idea.
Good. What, are you talking about the community survey about what kind of superintendent they wanted? Is that?
That's the survey.
That's the only one I've gotten.
Okay,
Only if I get.
Oh, parents. Parents,
I
or,
haven't done it yet.
that's probably why. I think it went to parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Not
I'm like,
Yeah, and
Full on.
check it out, end of the third quarter.
wow.
Right? Yeah, I know, that's just crazy. I got applications closed on the 31st there, so Clint would know when that happened. Then, the last item there, May 18th, put this on your calendar, you guys. I really hope you can attend. If you haven't come before, it is definitely worth your time. The Evening of Excellence is May 18th. It's a Monday. It's at Seven Feathers. They gave us a grant to pay for the majority of their conference room, okay? And what we do is we celebrate our best. We celebrate our kids, staff. It's just really a cool time. Scholarships awarded. I mean, it's just really a neat time. It's cookies and punch type of thing. It's not a dinner, and it's pretty casual, but it's really a nice evening of celebration.
What time does it start?
6 p.m.
Yeah, it was nice. I went last year.
Yeah.
What's the executive session at 3 p.m.?
That executive session at 3 p.m. is on April 2nd is about the hiring practices. That's also on the hiring agenda. So that executive session is to make some decisions about who to move forward in the process. So the applications close on the 31st, and there's an executive session by the board on the 2nd to determine which applications or who they want to interview. That's the screening committee, I think.
Right, so but why would it be executive session? So we don't have two board. That's what.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Because if it was, yeah, so I thought, I didn't know if it was this
Yeah.
board or if it was,
good question.
It's the
Good question.
committee.
We might need to ask Holly that. She's the one who actually determined it for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So only at the committee.
Well,
How's my
I'm not, I don't have my chart with me that Todd's got there, but that should give us a clue to it at least. I think it's
Talking about two search timeline, is that-
Well, see, I'm not sure you can't, I think it's a weekend.
it says strange candidates, so I didn't know who was down.
that's the chart for the
Well, when we
hiring.
session.
Yeah, it says screening candidates. It says executive session screening candidates, but you're right, it wouldn't require an executive session if there's only two on the screening committee. Yes, unless, if you all wanted to be, or if four of you wanted to be on, then we'd have to have an executive session.
Yeah, I don't have that as a board meeting day, so. You know, 3 board meetings on the 8th, the 13th, and the 16th, so we're gonna be busy.
So I'm gonna be there in April, so.
Yeah.
First I thought it was this board, and figuring that first.
Yeah, it probably should, should be an executive session.
Yeah, because also we gotta put it on my paper.
Yeah,
So that's for the two board members that are on.
But if it is, then we have to do an agenda and put it in the paper that you're gonna be meeting, but not. Just a committee meeting, just a meeting, it feels not a big that. But I'm sure it's two board members.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah, you don't have to announce it.
2 from this board, 2 from the charter board.
I don't think, even think, do you want to have the public put anything out that?
No,
No,
Yeah,
that's,
and, oh,
I'm gonna go, holiday make sure there's nothing.
yeah, I think the way you guys, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think the way you guys did it before, because you had the whole board engaged in the process, that's why it was that way, is because then it was a board meeting. Because you had to quorum. So it would have been an executive session because that's confidential conversation still. I mean, we have confidentiality agreements that we will have to sign to begin.
The sign before the meeting.
Yeah.
I remember getting our packet of applications before, but I don't think that was that wasn't everybody on the board, was it? That did it, and then
Yeah, the first go around.
and then we kind of ranked them and came and.
Yeah, and then the second go around. it's just-
That's a lot.
It was too many people. That
Yeah, it was insane.
was way too.
Because it was the charter board too, right? That was involved.
What kind of decision?
Was there community meetings?
And then,
Ugly, it was ugly, Joe.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh. I would like to make a motion to adjourn because I'm ready to go.
Moved,
Seconded,
seconded, all in favor?
everybody.
Yes, yeah.
You guys, it was fun doing business with you. Thank you, Greg. Greg, not to be great.
You plan on doing any sourdough classes or anything that
No.
anybody else how to do that? No?
No, I really don't know what I'm doing. I just kind of wing it
For
and
years now, I've been eating that stuff and it's been great every single time.
Mariah Zimmerman did a class. Her, yeah, I ordered bagels from her, the sourdough bagels and sourdough vanilla and cinnamon rolls.
They can